I did not believe it for 1 second. That's what Fox News host Sean Hannity told investigators about the false claims of voter fraud promoted by Trump lawyer Sidney Powell, who appeared on the network frequently after the 2020 election. Colleague Tucker Carlson also told a producer that Powell was lying. He and other prominent hosts railed against her, Rudy Giuliani, and the conspiracy theories, even as they continued over and over again to support them publicly. These revelations, they're coming from a legal filing from Dominion Voting Systems, now suing Fox for defamation. Fox has said it stands by its coverage and is protected by the First Amendment. Asha Rangappa is a former FBI special agent and assistant dean at the Yale Jackson School of Global Affairs, and Asha is joining us now. Asha, we appreciate you joining us on this. Are you at all surprised by these revelations, first and foremost, that these Fox News hosts believe little of what they were actually putting out there and promoting to millions of Americans and dividing this country?
No, I wasn't surprised at all, though the filing was incredibly revealing about how they approach the news. What it was describing is a symbiotic system. I mean, I think what's unusual about this lawsuit is this isn't just a, rogue reporter that said something wrong or a one-off false statement. This is an entire system. And, I studied this information, and there's actually an academic model that describes this. It's called the propaganda feedback loop. And so in some ways it was kind of exciting because it actually demonstrated how the propaganda feedback loop operates in practice with, these concrete examples of how they are presenting what the audience wants to hear and is essentially a closed system that doesn't have any internal checks or policing of the truth.
So let's talk more about this, because you write about this propaganda feedback loop, right? And to me, it kind of sounds like the argument that you're making in a way is it's business, right? You put this out there, these folks become kind of more extreme, more rabid, then you have to provide them with that product to get them to continue watching. Here's what you write. As the audience gets more rabid, more extreme, the news outlets in this bubble will have no choice but to follow along, right? So how do you cut that off? How do you break the cycle?
Yes, so it's very difficult, Yasmin, because this is a media ecosystem which is completely untethered to traditional media. So it's not only not following traditional journalistic practices, it doesn't let outside information in. And on top of that, what these outlets tell their audience is, if you hear something that isn't what you want to hear, it's fake news. You can discount it. You don't need to believe it. And this is the problem that Fox News ran into, because they'd conditioned their audience to discount anything that they heard that they didn't like. So as soon as Fox was not going in completely on the big lie immediately after the election, the audience started going to other, even more extreme outlets. And so Fox had to double down and kind of get them back.
Well, and that's the thing. It's not like these folks, if these people are believers in kind of the big lie and the fact that the 2020 election was stolen, they're not suddenly then going to turn on MSNBC for the truth and say, okay, no, that is the truth. Those are the facts being reported on that network. They're going to double down, as you said, very much on the propaganda that's being fed to them. And if they're not hearing what they want to hear, they're going to go elsewhere to hear what they want to hear. While I have you, I just want to quickly ask you about Speaker McCarthy giving Tucker Carlson this exclusive surveillance footage from January 6th that was recorded during the January 6th attack. NBC has requested this footage as well. Talk about the damage that is being done in doing this, especially considering, by the way, how hard Fox News, Tucker Carlson specifically, has gone after Speaker McCarthy within the Republican Party.
Well, I think that's precisely why McCarthy has given him the footage. Going back to that propaganda feedback loop, the implicit understanding is you do what I ask and I'll give you favorable coverage, right? And McCarthy needs that favorable coverage to mobilize the base to vote for him. Apart from the security issues in handing over all this footage and, who knows you just don't really want all kinds of surveillance footage to be aired to people who have designs on the Capitol. We know now that what is going to be done with this is it's going to be cut and edited in ways that appease the audience. What does Fox News audience want to hear? They want to hear, or they want to see, that these were peaceful protesters, that they were invited in by the cops, that Ashley Babbitt was shot without justification. And so we're going to see a propagandized version of that. My understanding is that Chuck Schumer, as the minority leader, also has access to this. I think he can provide it to news outlets as well. So I think weighing the security concerns against, pre-bunking these narratives,
right,
kind of getting ahead of this storyline is what is going to have to be weighed here.
All right, Asha Rangappa, we thank you. Good to talk to you. Coming up next, everybody, far-right Congress.